Hey everybody, hey traders, Chris Pulver here. Welcome back to the Pulver Report. This is a video update for Monday, May 15th. Did do a live session today on the YouTube channel. I was out of the office, so I wanted to post this on the channel and get this out to respective trading rooms and just do a little overview of today. So looking at the currency strength chart, we have a little bit of risk on today. Aussie and New Zealand on top. CAD also making a nice little climb. Euro and Swiss at baseline. The dollar and yen getting weaker. We take a look at some indices and markets today. The SPY was up 0.35%. The DIA finished up 0.17%. The Q's up 0.5%. Again, the Q's just kind of getting dragged up by big tech, big names. If we take a look at the sector tracker, you're going to see that some of the biggest companies in the world, tech-wise, are still leading the way in the XLK, which is a technology sector, and I think XLC is the communication sector. So the adage, sell in May, go away, has not quite taken hold yet. We're still melting up higher on the technology side of things with the NASDAQ. We're still, at a sideways level with this firm kind of 415, 420 resistance on the SPY. But just remember that, more sideways, whether it's this type of sideways, if this is an ascending triangle, there's still some growth opportunities. If this is just strictly sideways, even right here with the shorter, tighter range, if we break up here, there's melt up room. We break down here, there's meltdown room. The debt ceiling's front and center through most of June. We'll see how long that takes to kind of give us a lift. Or I think most people are confident the U.S. will not default unless it's intentional. But there's all sorts of stuff we're reading right now, so we'll figure it out and we'll properly navigate it. But just volume alone has been pretty quiet, right? I mean, this is the S&P outside of a little fake out last week after the Fed and after CPI data. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 indecision days. Not to mention the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. So I would say more or less we have 2 months of indecision, which makes for a pretty lame pre-summer push at this time. So that's why I'm watching prices so closely. That's why I have chart alarms set everywhere. Chart alarm here, chart alarm there. Go to the dollar index, the DXY. Dollar index, strong push off the last couple of days. Today was a bit more of a pause. So we have 2 strong days from Monday, or it's actually Thursday, Friday last week. Today's candle not so hot. But again, we're breaking the trend line. I look at this, so you can see my channel, where if we have connected the dots from this high to this high, we can potentially project resistance up here around the 106 to 107 area. We have this low to this slightly higher low, just making this a parallel line. The dollar has some room to get stronger in the near term. It will be interesting. If the dollar continues to run up, I don't see that doing well for stocks. It would probably be a concentration of some companies might do well and keep the indices afloat. But if the dollar gets really strong, more than likely we'll have a bit of a sell-off in stocks. So oil, gold, silver, and Bitcoin, let's take a look at those. Oil is at 71.32, big support level here at $62.50 to $65. Do we head back up to, 85 to 100? We'll find out. It could also be stuck between that 65 support and this 200 EMA around $80. We could have a tight range in oil. We could go from 65 to 80, 65 to 80, bounce back and forth there for a while, kind of stay in that supply and demand zone for the summer. And then we'll see if, in the fall and possibly Q4, we get a breakout in some capacity in oil. Go into gold. Gold. Major resistance ahead at 2075. Could be a fake out. Bulls should be ready for a bull trap if we push a little bit higher. Okay, if we push a little bit higher here, that might make a lot of people bite on long gold, and it could certainly come all the way back down. Part of the reason I think that technically is we have this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this wave 5 is finished, we're looking at an ABC correction, which is a 3-wave move to the downside. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out, but I'm watching closely, and I of course will not ignore if we break above 2075 or even 2100. I'm going to take bullish positions on gold. I'm not necessarily buying gold, but I would look at something like GLD, do a lot of options. If I'm right on the direction, I'll play directionally. But I'm also at the same time going to take bearish trades on gold, because if this resistance holds, it's pretty straightforward to go back from 2070 resistance all the way to like 1850 or 1825 support. So there's potential both ways. Silver had a pretty big sell-off last week, and you can see we're kind of in that momentum of just a big drop here after some divergence. Technically speaking, we could be looking at higher lows. This could be a longer channel this way, and if we have a bear flag and silver heads lower, that's fine. That would also give a lift to the dollar most likely. So it does make sense. At the same token, if this is up and it consolidates and drifts a little bit lower, I'd still be looking for a chance to buy more silver around this 22.50 area. So I still like silver to the upside. There's good levels all the way up towards $29 to $30. I'm looking to buy some dips, but if I have my choice, I'd like to get some dips around this 22.50 area. Bitcoin was down as low as 26 last week. It came down to 25,822. And you can see it's up here at 27.3 right now. So still 30 to 31K, major resistance. If this is the start of a bit of a downtrend with a bearish pattern up here, left shoulder, head to neckline, right shoulder, we break that neckline, we stall here. We could be heading lower. Again, dollar strength likely leading Bitcoin lower. Dollar strength likely leading gold and silver lower. Dollar strength likely leading the stock markets lower as well. Okay, let's take a look at some currencies here. I'll just flip through Aussie CAD. I'm still long and bullish on Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss. If we can get a higher break, I'd like to see this break above 60.50. I'm going to set a chart alarm right now, actually. 60.50 would be awesome. And I'll set a chart alarm down to hit the lows at 58.50 as well. So just get this surrounded. This is just going to be important to do so for a lot of trades, a lot of my stock positions, a lot of my currency trading. Just trying to get some good levels set. 107.38, we had a spike up to 107.63. I do have a pending order, or actually I have a current order at 108 and another one at 106.85, or 106.50, sorry. So if we hit 108 on the Aussie New Zealand, I'm locked in for 150 pips. And I don't mind closing that just to be safe. I do think we might still get to the upside here at 109 and have a range. But I think, again, playing it safe, maybe a 150 pip gain here is good. If we hit the highs around 110, that'd be awesome if I can hang on to it. I'm just not sure if I have the belief that this is going up to 110 right now. So I think 108, a chart alarm would be great. I'll set that right now, actually. If we hit that this week in the trading rooms, I'm just going to lock in those 150 pips. So 108.100 right there, and boom. All right, so if we hit that, I'll take a break-even trade on one and then 150 pips on the other. Aussie dollar, we had a short position. I was hoping for another nudge to the downside. I'll wait and see if that happens tomorrow. There's some pretty good support equally around 6,600. I'm going to look and see if this is pushing, pull back today, and then another push lower. CAD Swiss, I'm still long. I'm going to set a chart alarm here, see if we break these highs at 60. I'll just put it at 67. 6,700 on the CAD Swiss would be nice. That would start getting us up to possibly this other moving average cluster around 68 to 68.50. Yen crosses continue to stay short term. Swiss pairs. I said we have to break below 149.10. We have not done that. We got to 149.85. If we break below 149.10, I like it. Same thing with Euro Yen. Euro Yen has to get below 146.50. So there's Swiss Yen, Euro Aussie, holding off on that for right now. If anybody is looking, I did say this, so we just broke the trend line. It'd be something like this, high to low, and then we have a little bit of a pullback here. I look for a pullback trend line break, and then take this short. If it just goes really quickly, where today's candle's bearish, I mean, change the color here. If we go high, low, and then a quick downward move, I may not participate in that. I might just stay out of it. We had a big run up here. We made a lot of money on the way up for that big move on the Euro Aussie. So I'm happy with those profits overall. We also booked profit on this one. We sold it at 1.5 to profit around 46 to 46.50. I'm out of the trade right now. If this goes a little bit lower, if this gets below 4,600 and then pauses here, I'm looking for more downside to these lows and possibly this pivot around 1.40. So the Euro CAD may still offer us something to the downside that we can follow along with. Euro Swiss back down to equal lows. Just watching this one carefully. The bulls need to break this parity mark at 1.00. Euro Pound, we're short on that one. Euro Yen, we're looking to make that clean break below 146.50. Euro New Zealand. I was looking for a chance to sell this, just kind of fade this move, but I want to see a little bit more price action. This has been really steep and really aggressive, sharp drop, big pullback. So I look for something like this. High to low, we pull back in here. I'm not drawing that very well. If we have a little bit of a pullback and just something we can get a trend line on, and then look for a break with a stop above, I'd see if Euro New Zealand heads lower. There's a lot of structure in here around 168 or 167 and 169. I would just measure this move. If we go high to low, look to measure this back down to a 127 or symmetry, 167, 169. That's good profit if you're selling. Euro dollar. Euro dollar, we sold it. I did a stop reverse at 108.55. I'm selling it back again around 110 to 110.50 with a stop above. I'm going to see if the dollar strength pushes this down towards 106. Pound Aussie, no trade right now. Pound CAD, we're currently long. Pound Swiss, we're currently long. Pound yen, no trade. Just follow your alignments. I'm looking to see if the yen will break below 167.85. If it does, pound yen could be a great short. That's also a big risk-off trade. If we break below this low and head all the way back down here, that's definitely worth considering. You know, as far as reward to risk, that's a great setup. It's probably a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 setup in currencies, which is pretty solid. But I'd like to see the bears close below this level. That's 168. Pound New Zealand, holding off on that one. Pound dollar, we closed out a long position, which I'm glad we did. Past resistance became some support here today, but we were long in this drift higher. We took this all the way up towards 26.50 before we protected, so we had a nice run on the pound dollar. Not in the trade at this time. New Zealand CAD, we had a big sell-off last week in the New Zealand CAD with inflation expectations. I'm going to set a chart alarm up here at 85.50. If we break above 8550, that would be fantastic. I'm still long in this position overall. New Zealand Swiss, looking to see if we can break this high. That's 56.81. That'd be another push higher. And I'll set a chart alarm down here at 54 in case there's some risk-off flows when we hit those COVID crash lows at 53. New Zealand yen, short term. Man, this thing is just range bound. It's really crazy. New Zealand dollar also still pretty range bound. We sold it high. We're up about 120 pips in a couple of days last week. I'm going to look to see if this continues lower towards this chart alarm low at 61.30. Dollar CAD stuck in the middle. Dollar Swiss coming off the lows. We need to get above here. I'm just going to put a chart alarm at like 91. If we hit 91, great. I'm holding dollar Swiss long for some positive swap and carry, as well as a longer term position to get back to this yearly pivot around 94, 9,500. Dollar yen, big push the last couple of days. I still think this kind of Gartley symmetry pattern could play out. Low to high, higher low to higher high. So that's your ABCD move against this longer downtrend. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or an ABCD. I'm looking to then complete that move and then start to sell it. So I still like long, and I talked about this last week actually. If you went long dollar yen with a stop loss below a trend line, you're looking for that push. Solid equity management, good reward to risk. I like that trade. That's dollar yen for the next couple of weeks as long as we don't break this trend line to the downside. I still have some exposure in dollar Sing. We're at 33.59. Another couple of days there. Good move with the dollar versus the Asian currencies. And I'm looking to get back to these highs at 3,600. I'm liking this pivot level around 37.50 as well. That ultimately is my profit on the dollar Sing. All right, so that was a lot of currency pairs. I just talked major indices, really. A lot of sideways movement. We still have some plays. We still have some ownership. I like what we own. And I will continue to set a lot of chart alarms, see what activates. Things are pretty low volatility right now and quiet, but that's okay. We'll wait for our directional confirmations. We'll look for breakouts, and we'll trade accordingly. So if you have any questions, let me know. Happy trading lots of profits. If you're in my trading rooms, I'll see you this week. If you're coming back to tune in on Friday for the Pulver Report, that's great. We'll do it at opening bell, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, let's have a good week, everybody. I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.